Hello everyone, welcome to Tech with Machines. Today we are going to talk about Kubernetes, which you would have heard as K8s as well. And if you are working closely in DevOps domain, then you might already be familiar with it. And if you are working closely with the DevOps, then even though you know the term, you might find it interesting to know what are the underlying architecture of Kubernetes. This is going to be the quick sneak peek into the high level components of Kubernetes architecture. We are going to talk about what are the main components and what these components are comprised of and how do they play a role in the whole architecture. So let's first talk about what Kubernetes actually is. It is an open source container orchestration platform that automates the deployment, scaling, and operation of application containers across cluster of nodes or across pool of nodes. Now, broadly, the Kubernetes architecture can be divided into two main components, one being control plane and another being a node as shown here in the diagram. Now, control plane is responsible for managing the Kubernetes cluster. Again, it has multiple components which we are going to talk about, but imagine that it is like a big school where a control plane is like a whole school management system or a principal which manages the whole Kubernetes cluster, right? And this is purely the master node. It has several key components. Now, first being the Kube API server. This is the central management entity that exposes the Kubernetes API. It is more like a front end for the Kubernetes control plane, handling the requests which are coming from the various clients, be it user, developer, tools, or other components. Followed by there is etcd. It is basically a key value store, and it's a highly available key value store which is used in Kubernetes, and it's a Kubernetes backing store for our cluster data. It manages the configuration data, metadata of the Kubernetes cluster. Then we have Kube Scheduler. It is responsible for scheduling pods to nodes in the cluster. It watches for unscheduled pods and assigns them to suitable nodes based on the resource availability and other scheduling constraints. Then we have Kube Controller Manager. It runs various controller processes to regulate the state of the cluster. Examples being the node controller, replication controller, or endpoints controller. These controller works to ensure that the desired state of the cluster matches the current state. Then we have Cloud Controller Manager. It is basically helping or allowing Kubernetes to be cloud agnostic. It is if K8s, like you are using Google Cloud, and then you will be using GKE, Google Kubernetes Cluster, and if you have deployed it in that environment, the component interacts with the underlying cloud provider's API to manage resources. The other main component of Kubernetes architecture is worker nodes. Now, it is also comprised of multiple subcomponents, but nodes are basically worker nodes are basically minions, or you can say the machines, physical or virtual, that run the containerized applications. Now, the first thing or the first main component of worker nodes is kubelet. Kubelet is an agent that runs on each node, and it ensures that containers are running in a pod. It communicates with Kube API server and manages the lifecycle of containers. Then we have Kube Proxy. Kube Proxy manages the network rules on each node. It maintains network rules on nodes, allowing network communication to the pods and services, handling request forwarding and load balancing. Then finally, we have container runtime. This is basically responsible for running containers, main being Docker, Containerd, or if you would have heard about CRIO, then one of them also is supported by Kubernetes. Finally, there is C Advisor, which is basically for the metrics collection, or it exports information about the running containers. This component provides the performance metrics and the resource usage. That is all about what Kubernetes architecture comprises of, and only at the high level. This was just a quick sneak peek video about the Kubernetes architecture. If you have liked the video, please like and follow. I hope you have a good day, and I hope this is a knowledgeable video. Thank you for watching.